Hey fish friends, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Obviously, I'm sitting in my truck. I'm using my camera phone, my iPhone, so excuse me if there's a little bit of overexposure right here and maybe not the best audio quality. But anyway, I want to thank all of you for your comments on one of my recent videos about what I should do with my Oscar cichlid Felix, who was lonely. And a lot of you had some really good ideas. I didn't respond to very many. I read them all though. And every single one, I read them all. So I am going to do a little bit of fish shopping. I just left the gym, obviously, and although I wear tank tops all the time. But anyway, I just left the gym. I came to the fish store Saturday morning, and I'm gonna do a little shopping to see if I can find a suitable tank mate for Felix. Now, I'm at one of the stores that does have a lot of large cichlids. This is Hungming Aquarium in Daly City, California, just south of San Francisco. I filmed here a long time ago. This is one of the stores that will buy African cichlids from me when I breed them, and I've bought other fish from here before. My koi fish that I recently got that some of you may know about from my live stream, they came from this store. So anyway, I'm gonna go inside. They just opened up. I'm gonna see what they might have. I don't know what they have because you never know, but hopefully they have something that will work. Okay, well, I'm back home, guys. I went to the fish store, thought a lot about a lot of different fish that I might want to get, a bunch of different South American cichlids that I was looking at. Ultimately, I decided to go with some really sound advice, so let's go see what I got. Now, before I do, I've got to quarantine my fish. They're here in a bag. I have to quarantine my fish. I always quarantine my fish. I never just add them directly into a tank. If you get new fish, no matter where you get them from, your best friend, your mother, a fish store, a breeder, auction, wherever you get it, you should quarantine your fish. You never know what diseases, parasites, etc. they may have. They've been stressed out if they're moving from tank to tank, so you want to make sure that you put them in an environment where you can observe them, make sure that they're healthy. Sometimes you might need to medicate them. In my case, I always do. So anyway, that's what I've got to do. Now, one problem that I have is I have I forgot how many tanks I have down here. A lot of tanks, right? I've got 29 total, but I don't have a tank. Well, I do have a couple empty tanks that are ready for quarantine, but not for the fish that I got. So now I have this empty spot right there. So I have a bunch of extra tanks behind me in storage right here. So let me set up a tank. It'll take me probably 5 minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, well, I've got the tank set up. It took me maybe like 6 or 7 minutes. I had to wipe it down and take out some old dried up Malaysian trumpet sails. But anyway, I've got a 20-gallon right here set up. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, how can you set up a tank so quickly and how can you put fish in it right away? Well, this is 100% new water, so I didn't take like water from another tank. It's just tap water that I filled at the right temperature because I can mix hot and cold water right outside here. But the reason why is once you dechlorinate the water, get rid of the chloramine, etc., you can put in cycled filter media. I happen to use sponges. I use sponges in the entire fish room. So all of my tanks have air, and all I have to do, because everything is plumbed to a central air pump, there's a line right here, and I can just throw in a sponge filter. I happen to have a sponge filter that was cycled. It had a bunch of Mbuna in a tank yesterday. I took those to the store, so those Mbuna are available for sale at a store. But anyway, so I have a sponge filter ready to go. So now let's see what fish I got. All right, so after much long thought, a lot of comments, a lot of thinking, I decided to get some more Oscars. Now I was gonna get one Oscar, and then I decided I'm gonna get two Oscars, and hopefully, you know, that works out later on down the road. If two decide to pair off, then I can always, you know, rehome one, trade it to the store or something like that. It's very easy for me to make sure that fish go to a different home if I decide it's not working out for me. So anyway, I got two Oscars. I got two tiger Oscars. They're not showing up very well color-wise. One is a regular tiger Oscar and one is albino tiger. Now, a lot of you are saying, Zenzo, those are way too small. You can't put those small Oscars in with your large Oscar. You are correct. So I am going to grow these out in a 40 breeder. I've got a bunch of 40 breeders. I've got a 40 breeder that's ready to go. So once they finish the quarantine process, they will go in a 40 breeder and I will grow them out. Now, you know that Oscars do grow very quickly. That is something that they are notorious for. So just in a few short months, I will have some larger Oscars. And then I do have some partitions. So probably what I'll do is when I do introduce them into the 125, I will partition that tank and put those Oscars in there and see how they kind of get along in the meantime. So right now, I am just gonna float the bag in the tank. Let's talk about this tank real quickly. It's a 20-gallon tank, nothing special. It's one of those AQUARIUM tanks you get for, you know, the $1 per gallon sale. I got a whole bunch of them. I gave a bunch away. I sold some recently. But you guys give me some mess about leaving the stickers on, because when I buy them, I just leave the sticker right on the tank. I kind of don't care, but I guess I'll peel this one off just to make the internet happy. There we go. So brand new tank, essentially. It did have stuff in it before. So anyway, I'm gonna let the bag float, and then once they've had a chance to acclimate temperature wise, I'm gonna do the plop and drop. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I did the plop and drop. What the plop and drop is basically you take a net, you hold the net over a bucket, and then you dump the fish and the fish water that was in the bag through the net, and the water goes in the bucket, and you can throw that away, and then you just have the fish left over the net, and you put the net with the fish in the tank. So what that does is that just eliminates you putting any water from the fish store in your tank. Now, even if you're medicating, etc., you still want to do that. So I have my Oscars, my new Oscars, no names yet. We'll talk about that in the future weeks and months, but they're both right here in this 20-gallon tank. Now, you probably can see, let's see if we can get a little bit closer here, that the water is blue, and the fish are kind of hiding right now. I did put a couple of flower pots in there just so they can kind of get a little reprieve from, you know, being exposed and not having to, you know, have one fish in front of the other. Just kind of gives them a little bit of privacy, give them a chance to relax and rest. But anyway, so why is the water blue? The water is blue because I medicated the tank. Now, I happen to use a med trio that was tested and popularized by Aquarium Co-op. So Corey from Aquarium Co-op has talked about this in many, many videos, many live streams, etc. So most of you are probably familiar with this, but if you're not, it is a trio of medications that have been tested that work well together, and they address a couple issues. The first issue that it addresses is it addresses the chances of your fish having ick. Now, we know that ick is a very widespread and easily passed on parasite. It's highly probable that fish do have ick in their system, and when they're stressed out, etc., it can flare up. But anyway, so I treated them for ick, and that is something that I always do regardless of where I get my fish. And what I use is I use ICX. So ICX is a ick treatment, and I happen to buy mine from aquariumcoop.com. And in addition to the IQX, I use a couple of other medications. One of those being General Cure. So General Cure from API is it's a general medication that addresses parasites. So internal parasites. So again, your fish are raised at a farm, or they're in multiple tanks at fish stores, etc. You don't know what kind of parasites might live inside of them. So treating them for potential parasites and eradicating them, following the instructions, will give you a better chance of having healthy fish. Now, I've been using the system for a couple of years now, and I've had tremendous success with it. And it's just something that I've been happy with using this system. And obviously Aquarium Co-op has tested this for thousands and probably millions of fish, so it's worked well for them. Now, the last part of the trio is another medication, and this is a medication that you would use for bacterial infections. And this would be like if you, for example, let's say that you ordered some fish and it came in a bag with a bunch of other fish, or you picked them up from the fish store and they just got them recently from the wholesaler, etc. So they might have some nipped fins and a little bit of damage on their body, some scales that are kind of rubbed, raw, etc. So putting in some type of antibacterial medication that will address bacterial infections will help in getting them healthy and healed. So I happen to use Maricin. I was using erythromycin. It's basically the same active ingredient as Maricin, just that Maricin is a little bit more cost effective than the erythromycin. It's the same active ingredient, so you can use all three together. And again, all of those medications I did buy from Aquarium Co-op. Now, I will, just not to give you guys a commercial on Aquarium Co-op, but if you do use these medications, or if it's something that you're interested in, I would highly advise doing some shopping and getting it. And you can get it from Aquarium Co-op. The link is down below. But make sure that you get some extra IQX. I actually bought a little bit of extra myself. I wanted to get like a lot of supply, because a lot of the different governments are starting to crack down on medications for fish, and that was one that I wanted to have available, so I made sure that I bought some extra stock just in case. So go ahead, get some if you're going to use it, and have a little bit of extra stock on hand just to kind of keep you safe for the years to come. So that's it. That's the video about me getting some new baby Oscars, some Oscar fish, some baby monsters. I am excited to watch them grow over the coming weeks and coming months. I will be, again, putting them in a 40 breeder to grow them out. I will be doing lots of water changes, as I always do. I will be power feeding them to put on some size. The ones that I picked out in the store, they did show some good color, but also they showed some personality, which is really what I want from Oscars. So hopefully when they get bigger, I can introduce them to the 125, and hopefully Felix will accept them. I will put a barrier in the tank when I introduce them at first, so just so they can kind of see and smell each other for a while, and then we'll see what happens. So fingers crossed there. So anyway, make sure to hit that subscription button down below if you are not yet subscribed to my channel. Make sure that you hit the like button. The likes really help. The likes and even the dislikes help. So if you like it, just hit that button just so that we know that you were here, you saw the video, and you like it or whatever. And also hit that notification bell if you are subscribed. So if you hit that notification bell, that way you'll know when I have a new video that comes up. And obviously, if you want to see how these Oscars grow and how quickly they grow, you'll want to be notified, and you'll want to be a subscriber so that you can continually get updates on the Oscars. And I think that might be fun for me to do. Oscars are very popular, so maybe in the coming weeks and months, maybe that's just something that I'll feature once a week or something. We'll just show the Oscars, see how they're doing, and you guys can keep track, and then we'll see what they look like in a few months. So right now it is the beginning of August. I think it's August 2nd today, something like that. August 2nd, August 3rd, whatever. It's the beginning of the month. So we'll check back in a week or so, and then over the months we'll see how they look. Maybe in December, maybe they'll be big enough to put in this tank. We'll see. So anyway, as always, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button. Catch you on the next one.